give me my presents and then I'll go.
Did you put the turkey in?
All right, lads. Merry Christmas!
Oh, hello. You're just in time for dinner.
Happy Christmas! I'm Alan Davis, and this is the festive edition of As Yet Untitled, which is As Yet Untitled. I have four amazingly talented guests who are going to join me shortly for some silly Christmas tales. We've got a set. What could possibly go wrong? We don't prepare anything, as you may know if you've seen this in the, before. There's no really proper intro, even. It's just some funny folk. So please welcome our guests. So let's see, we've got Joyner. Joyner is here. Joyner is all fur coat and no Christmas knickers and knows why Santa is apprehensive about coming down her chimney. Joyner.
All you innuendos. Can I have a copy myself?
Richard Coles is with us. Richard Coles, who once lost the baby Jesus. Jason Manford, welcome, Jason. Jason Manford's uncle always makes a Christmas visit to Iceland, and if you're planning on inviting Jason round for Christmas dinner, don't. And Joe Lycett, welcome, Joe. Joe Lycett still writes to Santa and is a dab hand with spillages.
Why not?
Jason, before we begin, would you mind standing so we can admire your costume?
Sure, of course.
Look at that. You're slightly concerned.
Oh, it makes a noise? This is quite sinister, what you're doing here.
Yeah, gone for it.
Is that the usual Santa thing? Just go up to a child and just push your crotch into the face?
I think Santa's usually sat down when the kids come. Have you been Santa yet?
Have I been to him?
Have you actually been Santa, like, for a...
No, I still write to him.
You know, OK.
Well, this is the thing, so, like, my...
Does he know?
Yeah. Well, no what?
Nothing. Nothing.
So you're not Santa?
I'm not Santa, no.
My husband was it. He was a stay-at-home husband, so he was my children's first Father Christmas because he got roped into the nursery. You know, he was the only man there, so all the women went, "Oh, great, you can be Father Christmas when you come. That's great." I was at work, and how do you explain to two-year-olds that you're just nipping off when you're dad?
Yeah,
so he took them to nursery. He kind of hadn't thought that far, nipped off to go and put Father Christmas costume on, and then they fell apart and couldn't find Dad. They had to pull the beard down and kind of go, "No, it's me. I'm here. I'm here." So they thought Father Christmas was Dad, which is...
It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot of pressure, I think. But I have been Santa. You know, like a children's charity, they sort of say, "Oh, will you come along and be Santa for the day?"
Fake beard?
The full, like, the
or do
suit...
you whiten up your existing...
Yeah, no, this is my time-off beard. No, but I've been along, and they've got the proper suit, and they give the real suit. They give you the suit and the beard and the... they don't give you the padding anymore, but they give you everything. And it's quite weird because there's quite a lot of pressure on being a Santa for children who believe you're Santa.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where they're waiting outside the grotto.
Yeah.
And you're sat in the seat.
And you're being checked for all kinds of registers. And
Yeah, you've done a CRB check. Make sure
They do it that late. Yeah. We've cast him, he's in. We should probably check that he's...
you right up until Christmas Eve.
You got, like, a couple of hours, and then suddenly, and you're thinking, how am I going to get... Like, I don't want to spoil their Christmas. Because if this is the moment that they'll remember, if I fuck it up, like, they'll remember that moment.
Oh, I wanted John Bishop as Santa.
He does it sometimes as well, the same charity. But and there's a moment where I don't know what happens, the magic of Christmas. I don't know, but when they come in and they go, and they see you, you just suddenly find this, like, Brian Blessed, like, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Ah, it's
My
amazing.
children, when they first saw Santa, were terrified.
Yeah, it is terrifying.
And Brian Blessed, Wes won't be able to go out. He was in a panto with an old girlfriend of mine, and he was Peter Pan, and he was, as you can imagine, Captain Hook.
Oh, right, I was going to say.
And
It's a terrible Peter Pan. Rubbish casting.
Worst Tinkerbell I've ever seen.
Come on, Lost Boys!
And, I think he did it. You know, it's one of these pantos that reconvenes every year, but in another town. You get these ones that go. So he'd done it a few times.
Yeah.
And he got a new director, and he didn't like him. And he said to him, "You, sir, are a cunt. You were born a cunt. You'll die a cunt. You will always be a cunt." You can't use that. You can't use that.
And that's amazing. And that's coming from Brian Blessed.
You can't. If I'd known you were going to use it, I wouldn't have said Brian Blessed. I'd have made up an actor.
Yeah, they've just done his voice.
We're all sitting there chatting, and the elephant in the room is being ignored. We've got this thing.
Look at this.
I've got on my side, I've got a hot tub going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I've
Oh,
got...
someone's made this.
This has been made for this show.
Right.
We've got a star-jumping ski guy here.
I've got the sinister clowns on this side here, staring up at me.
Yeah, they're not festive, are they clowns?
Is that two women in the hot tub or a man and a woman?
That's a man, that one, I reckon.
Merry Christmas.
Does seem to be a consistent thing with Christmas of shit ornaments, I suppose, isn't it? Like,
Totally, yeah.
like you have to make your house and everything look incredibly ugly
Yeah.
and messy.
With my first parish, just before Christmas, I was doing a funeral, happy festive note, and the crematorium was in the cemetery. It's one of those Victorian cemeteries, and there were these two lodge houses on either side of the gate. And so it was in this cortege, everyone very sad, driving up, and we noticed that someone had put a light-up Santa going across the two lodge gates for the crematorium.
That's not a chimney you want to go down, is it?
Well, I just thought, you know, kind of... Mixed messages.
What happened to Santa who's delivering presents at the crematorium? No one's seen him since.
It was kind of yo-ho-ho as you went underneath. And it was weird.
I like that you call it doing a funeral. What are you up to, sir? Just doing a funeral. Oh, typical Tuesday.
It's another creme gig.
Oh, God, I hate the creme gigs. They're the worst. Yeah.
So, Cho, let's get it out of the way then. So when you say you write to Santa, do you write a present list?
Yeah.
To this day?
To this day,
Where do
I'm
you deliver it
27. It's delivered... I still live with my parents, still live with Dave and Helen. Great guys. And
Do you have siblings?
I've got my sister Beth, who's 30. She also has to write to Santa.
Right. Is she living at home as well?
And she lives at home as well.
Are they not letting you out? Are they not...
It's very comfortable there.
It sounds it, yeah. It sounds it.
And, yeah, so I still have to... And we still have to put out mince pies
You
for
have,
Santa.
they ask you to write to Santa, your mum and dad.
Yeah, and if I sort of say, are you sure he's you know, real? And they're like, that's like, you can't say that in our household.
Right. Wow.
And
are they all right, you folks?
when I say I live at home, we live in a home.
Yes.
Sheltered accommodation.
It's not by any chance a windowless basement, is it?
And yeah, so it's basically just an opportunity for me and my sister to leave out whiskey. That's the other thing. If there isn't whiskey, I'm legally old enough to buy the whiskey to leave out for Santa, which is basically just my father's way of going, could you just get some whiskey in because I want a whiskey on.
So the whole thing's set up just so because your mum won't let your dad have whiskey.
And I try and catch them out. Sometimes, so like one Christmas, all of my gifts were labelled from Santa. There wasn't one from Mum and Dad. So I said to them, I said, well, where are your gifts then?
Good one. See, my dad was very clever with that. So what he would do is all the presents that were, like, educational and a bit boring from Santa. The bike from Dad.
Do you do that now?
I'm a bit like that as well. Well, I'm working all year round here for this.
Do you have a main present?
Yeah, I still do the main present and the...
and then the periphery present.
There was always a shared present for me and my brothers as well.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
That wouldn't go down well.
Sharing. You don't want to promote that, do you?
Especially not at Christmas. It's Christmas!
I'm not good at receiving gifts.
No.
And I don't like it when the person wants you to respond in a certain way.
Oh, do you feel the pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't you like it?
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
You can take it away with you.
That's Christmas.
Well, you can take it back to the shop if you want. I don't want to go near the shop. Don't give me
Just wish
anything.
this whole thing hadn't happened.
I'm very ungrateful.
And they leave the receipt. Oh, you can take it back.
It's a gift receipt, though,
yeah.
so you don't know if they actually spent 14 quid.
Just added admin to my life. just pop round to a shop.
We used to have, my dad had this green ledger, and we had to open our presents in strict order.
Oh.
And so then he would write down who it was from so we could write our thank you letters.
Oh, that's
Until one year I wrote to Mrs. Cope, I think it was, I'm 12. I don't want a knitted soldier. No, thank you. Wow. And that was the end of the thank you note. And also the end of any presents from Mrs. Cope.
I remember being about 10, and we used to share a bed, me and my brothers, and it wasn't Angela's ashes, but we were poor, and so we'd share a bed, and so we'd be dead excited on Christmas Eve, and I remember my dad did it a couple of times, but I specifically remember this year because my dad wasn't into Christmas at all, in a sort of pretend dad way where he wasn't happy about it. The shopping, the tinsel, he wouldn't put lights on the windows because he was like, why am I entertaining the rest of the street? You know, let's just put things on the inside of the house. And he was into that sort of thing. So
entertaining?
Yeah, entertaining.
You know, walk past the house, like, oh, that's entertaining.
I remember one year, it was Christmas Eve, we were all excited, lying in bed, and there was, like, jingle bells, like, there was bells, like, sleigh bells outside. And, what we thought was outside. I woke my brothers up, I was like, Stephen, Colin, I think I can hear Santa. Santa's here. And we were all up, and we opened the bedroom window, and we leant out, and we're trying to have a look where he is. And then, after about 4 or 5 minutes of this, my dad burst in. What's going on? Why are you up? I said, wait, Santa's outside. We just heard the bells outside. And my dad, he would go over to the window, and he'd lean right out, and he'd go, I don't care who you are, get off the bloody roof with them reindeer. And it was like a whole little thing that he just set up for us. Well within his character, you know, so we totally believed it.
My poor stepmother, she just gives you a plate which has got roast potatoes and Brussels sprouts and then a space.